I used to run away from facing the discomfort that was required of me to grow. When it got hard for me to do the work, I would find ways to distract myself with, and I would then travel all the way to a different country to meet the girl that I was dating back then. I often wondered what the fuck was required of me to make the progress that I want. But it's only when I started to embrace the discomfort that I started to make the progress that I wanted to make. So I had to address what are the actions that are necessary for me to get closer towards my goals, and what are the consequences linked to me not acting towards those actions. The truth is, how much I even hated myself. Growth lies behind a very thin wall of discomfort that you have to push through. And by not embracing that fact, I've wasted oftentimes my time. And so I was in a relationship with somebody that I didn't want to be with for 2.5 years. Now, you may be asking yourself, why were you in that relationship when you didn't want to be with that person? Well, I couldn't embrace the fact that I had to go down a lonely path. I couldn't embrace the fact, the discomfort that I had to face, that the woman that I wanted to attract wasn't going to be attracted to me. Because I was not yet the man that I needed to be in order to attract that type of woman. Because who was I? I was a weed addict. I was playing video games. I was a loser. I was not disciplined. I was not building anything towards my name. I mean, I was trying, but I had no momentum going on. Although I had the right intentions, I was far removed from being that guy. And instead of doubling down on the goals that I had, I would run away from them. Because I would then find a reason for me that I could eventually do both at the same time. You know, have a loving relationship with somebody while I'm working on building myself up. And you can, but it was not with the girl that I was with back then. And I knew that, and my intention from the start was wrong. So that led me to make this decision to be with her, although I knew that it wasn't right. And I used her as my crutch. You know, every time that it became difficult for me to sit down and to work on music, or to sit down and to work on another business plan that I had, because back then I also wanted to be a professional reseller. Like, I really wanted to sit up behind my computer and work with bots and everything, that I would cop sneakers, that I would buy sneakers online and then have them shipped to my place and then resell them online again and make a profit off of doing that. Basically like a glamorized drop shipping business model. But every time I was unable to do the work, unable to face myself, unable to sit myself down, unable to accept that I still have so much things that I need to do and improve on before I can actually do that, or before I can get to the point where I want to be, I would turn off my computer. I would travel. I live in Belgium and she lived in the Netherlands. I would travel all the way to the Netherlands to buy myself weed, to smoke weed, and to be with her, only because I had the opportunity to get weed. Oftentimes I tried to cope and tell myself like, no, she's a good girl. Maybe things can still change, you know, maybe my mind will change, but it wasn't. And deep down I knew that it wasn't. I was just finding excuses, because all I have been doing was finding excuses. And so it became a habit to choose instant gratification, to settle below my capabilities, to settle for things that I really didn't want, all because I was unable to persevere and make it happen. All because I couldn't stand in front of the mirror and tell myself, listen up, brother, this is what you have to do. This is the path that you have to take. And you're either going to embrace it and go through it and make it happen, or you're gonna pay for the consequences. But then something started to change. I became so pissed off about this fact. I knew for a long time that I wasn't living up to my values, and no matter how much weed I was smoking, the truth kept popping up. So I addressed my goals. I set the intention of who I want to be and where I want to go. I started to address all the habits that I needed to do that would get me closer towards reaching that goal. And I started to ruthlessly live up to them. No excuses. I have a very extreme personality, and in that moment that played into my benefit. And I stopped doing everything that wasn't helping me to get there. I just basically went cold turkey on everything. I broke up with that girl, stopped smoking weed, stopped playing video games, stopped lying to myself, addressed my core values, started to live up towards my core values, started to delay gratification. That doesn't mean that there weren't moments where it got hard, where my old ways started to come up. But that's then when I reminded myself of the consequences. I reminded myself of what will happen if I then start doing the same things that I was doing before. So the results would be, I would be living an inauthentic life. I would be settling for less. I will never achieve my goal of becoming the greatest version of myself. I would probably have children with a woman that I don't want to have as a mother of my children. I would then raise children that I wouldn't even want to have. I would probably end up being an alcoholic because I would need to find a way to silence the thoughts that were indicating me towards the truth. I would be working a job just to simply serve people that I didn't want to serve in the first place. I would be living a life filled of lies. I would just end up living a life like everybody else, like most people that we meet outside, who are working a job that they don't want to work, who have children they don't want to have, who have a wife they don't love and who they're constantly cheating on, constantly intoxicating themselves, running away from their truth. I didn't want that life. And that was the consequence of me not living up towards the habits and the actions that I needed to take. So yeah, it was difficult, but 100% worth it. So the results of me taking action are now that I am every day living a more fulfilled life than I was before. That I now have been able to develop a good foundation of myself and manage to marry the woman that I wanted to marry. That I have the intention of starting up a business, which I'm already working on, that is aligned with my core values, that is aligned with delayed gratification, that is aligned with being an honest man. A business that has purpose, that gives me the motivation and energy to go. All because I started to set my goal, set the intention, align myself to the habits that were necessary to get me closer towards reaching that goal. The consequences to what if I don't do that? What if I don't do the things that were necessary? And regardless of how difficult it was to still persevere. Because you will slip up. And I did. Sometimes. I just wanted to give up oftentimes. And of course you will make mistakes because the old way of you starts to come back. But you have to fight it. Ruthlessly. Vigorously. You have to be vigilant of everything that is around of you. Constantly reflecting, is what I'm doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision? Am I making progress towards becoming the greatest version of myself? Have I been an honest man? Am I aligned to my values? Is this decision that I'm going to make going to benefit me in the future? To do that day in, day out. Doing that for 3 years have gotten me to be in the position that I am right now. It has developed me to be a very confident man. And I have to keep forcing myself. Even through these sessions, you know. Sometimes it gets hard to record these videos, which are aimed to create my personal brand, to create freedom in location and time, to create a business, to give other people opportunities, to help many other people live towards their values, to live towards the life that they want to live, to become the greatest version of themselves. Yesterday I was scripting exactly this video and I was suffering. Like I genuinely just wanted to close off my phone and do something else and to run away, to allow my old habits to interfere with everything. But I didn't allow them to happen. I knew what the consequences were if I did that. And I'm absolutely proud that I persevered, that I've gotten myself to script this video. Because that gave me experience in being in discomfort, that it has now facilitated the progress of recording the videos for week 2 of January of 2025. And eventually I do make progress towards my business. I make progress towards becoming the man that I desire to be. You become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Especially in the beginning, it's hard, you know? You have to break off the old habits that you have and they require a lot of energy. But I'm telling you, do that long enough and it becomes a habit and it requires less energy. And that will mean that you will have more energy to focus on the other things that matter. Because all life is a series of challenges that you have to overcome, that you have to push through, that you need to learn the skills to overcome, to eventually overcome them, to level up and move to the next challenges that life will present. That's how I see life. That's how basically my entire life has been. And that eventually builds up confidence. You don't start with being confident and you don't start with being consistent, but you have to work yourself to be there. You have to work yourself to become disciplined. And you have to remember that discomfort is necessary in achieving those things. And I 100% believe that you can make it. Just like I 100% believe that I can make it. You know, sometimes I still doubt myself when I look at other people, their progress, when I look at other people, their development. But I have to remind myself that I'm on my own journey. I'm overcoming my own challenges. And I have to keep focusing on doing that. And that will get me closer to becoming the man that I want to be and live the life that I want to have and continue to inspire many more people. Or at least that's the goal. If I have done that, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But at least the intention is there. And I'm going to keep pushing through every challenge that appears. So address for yourself who you desire to be. What are the actions that are necessary for you to get there? And what are the consequences if you don't live up to those habits? I hope this video has been of value for you. I want to wish you a very nice day. And remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today. And I'll see you in the next one. Next one. All right. Bye-bye.